So this episode's gonna be about grit and mental toughness. See you after the intro. Motherfucking yeah. Hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. And I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here as fucking always. Fucking. Today we're actually going through another James Clear article. Oh god damn it. Well, because I thought I do think I should start another book just, in the next few days, I guess. I should really do it because I guess there are just a lot of great books that, we have to go through that are just so amazingly great that we just actually have to talk about them. Whether they are on the alanchang.com website, still there are some, but I don't know. I had a look at them. They were just quite great. They were not enormously great, so it was just something in between just, okay, I will go through it, and okay, nah, I don't think so, or I'm not sure. But yeah, for today I think it's just going to be this article. Maybe the other episode of today is going to be the book or the beginning of another book. I'll see. I just have to research a little bit and see whether I can find something that is actually worth going through, that is good, that is great, that is just really valuable, that is also just, maybe not too extremely long. I'll see. I'll definitely see. But I do hope, by the way, that everything is working. But I just remember to do so. And so that I'm not getting bothered by my hair again. So yeah, this article is called Grit, a complete guide on being mentally tough. Well, I had a look at the categories he's having on his website in terms of the articles, and I found we went through just intermittent fasting, which I'm currently still doing. It's working quite fine. I do just like the fact that I'm just able to get up and straight go ahead with my work that I'm having to do, with the research that I'm having to do, and which is enormously great because I'm so fucking productive. For example, yesterday, I spent quite the beginning of the whole day just working on the Instagram, working on the posts, doing a video actually as well, and then I had the full day of being in another place, just getting some books for my diploma and whatsoever for the research that I'm doing at the moment. And it felt so enormously fucking great. I had so much fucking time. It was just really amazing. I had enough time the whole day to just be in libraries, to just search the books, to see for the books, to see whether the books are good, and all these things. I had the whole fucking day time without actually having to worry about doing the posts, doing the video, doing something else. Still, I fortunately did something the day before so that I do not have to do everything on this particular day or just on, yesterday, basically, which is also great. So if you do just have more time, make tomorrow a little bit better, make tomorrow a little bit more easier, make it just a better day by doing some work for tomorrow so that you can do just tomorrow some work for the next day, and or maybe not. It always depends on the day. It always depends on the occasion. But yeah, I think I just go ahead. So Grit, a complete guide on being mentally tough. So Grit, if I remember, he's already just naming it. Grit is actually an idea from a book which is also called Grit, which is also available on the alanchang.com website, which is the enormously great website that I get my book summaries from, or where I just go through them, where you author actually compromises? It's, I think, more compresses the information into, I think, 10% of the text, but 90% of all the information, which is just great, because you get everything out of the summary, which is also in the book, without having to go through the whole book. Still, I do believe that actually going through the book is a completely different experience, and it might just change how you think about the world or how you think about the stuff that is actually talked about in the summary a little bit different, or in the book a little bit different. So, I guess going through the book is just often worth it, rather than just going through a free summary you find somewhere on the internet, especially because I've I haven't found any better summaries than on the alancheng.com website. They're just really amazing, and they're for free. It's just incredible. How much work he actually put into them, giving them away for free then, and whatsoever. It's just amazing, and I do hope that I can just contribute him or to his work a little bit by spreading the word that his summaries are just enormously fucking great. I think I'm also gonna just post something on Twitter, I guess. Those people actually going to look them up, chances are pretty high that they are going to look them up rather than me just posting something on Instagram. The lighting is fine, I guess, right? Because I could just do it like this. Well, this is fine as well, I guess. I'll take this one. It just seems to be a little bit of a flatter light, which is sometimes actually good. So, what is grit? Let's define grit. Grit is the perseverance and passion to achieve long-term goals. Sometimes you will hear grit referred to as mental toughness. Angela Duckworth, which is actually the author of the book that I just mentioned before, a researcher at the University of Pennsylvania, suggests that grit is a strong predictor of success and ability to reach one's goals. Which makes sense, because often the thing actually is that those long-term goals or those long-term actions lead to your goals. Short-term things often really, kind of hurt you more than they help you. Sometimes, which is actually, I think, just really, sometimes, those things that you like to do or those things that are easy and nice and whatsoever are good in the short term as well as in the long term. One of them might be just eating healthy. It can be really good in the short term because, healthy food doesn't have to taste bad. There's healthy food that really tastes enormously good. It always just comes up to your cooking skills. I can't fucking cook, for example. That's something that I really can't do. But something that I'm quite eager to learn, to be honest, because, just if you're cooking yourself something and it just really tastes like shit, it's a little bit, discouraging. And, you do not enjoy the food as much then, and it is just not as nice as being able to cook healthy, which is very important for me, but also good. More good, so that it tastes good as well. Because good food doesn't have to taste bad, it really does not. And, if it is actually the case that good food also tastes good, then it is just a win-win situation. It's a win in the short term for you just having the pleasure of eating something nice, and the win in the long term so that you are actually staying healthy, you're feeling good, your well-being is high, and all those things. Which, in my point of view, should actually be something that a lot of people should focus more on, because feeling good and being happy is something that's very, very fucking important. Money is not, You can have just a lot of money, but if you're fucking unhappy, well, you're not gonna be happy even though you have such a lot of money. Obviously. But yeah. I sound a little bit fucked today, to be honest. I hope that's not bothering you, but never mind. So Duckworth's research on grit has shown that West Point cadets, who scored highest on the grit test, were 60% more likely to succeed than their peers. Ivy League undergraduate students who had more grit also had higher GPAs than their peers, even though they had lower SAT scores and weren't as smart. Well, if you're so eager, and if you do just have the motivation and the persistence to learn something, even though you're not just as smart as somebody else, or you're not as good as somebody else, you're still able to just really just surpass them, actually pretty easily. Because often it is the case that those people that are actually good at some things do not do much, in those things. Especially in school, I think you can see that. In real life, it's fortunately, at least I'm seeing it's something else, because those people that are actually good at something, they seem to actually also try to be the best at it. At least this is just what I would do. I don't know if I do not have such a perspective into the kind of real world scenario thing, because I'm still a student. I'm not in the real world yet. But what I would do is that if you just see that you're just amazingly good at something, I would just double down on it. Just giving a fuck about all these things that you're not good at. and just focus on the things you're good at. You know, I just thought about like the whole cooking thing. I'm not good at cooking. I'm really not fucking good at cooking, but still I think like it would be nice if I would, you know, because I still have to cook for myself, and just having the skill and being able to cook myself some good and healthy and good tasting food is just nice. You know, it just, well, I would contribute off of it, and or from it. I would contribute from it. I think from it, yeah. Never mind. So when comparing two people who are the same age but have different levels of education, grit, and not intelligence, more accurately predicts which one will be better educated. Competitors in the national spelling bee outperform their peers not because of IQ, but because of their grit and commitment to more consistent practice. So if you would like more, I wrote about Duckworth's research here. I'm just thinking whether I should go through it as well. Maybe I will go through it afterwards. It would be just, you know, I could do that. I think I will just go through it afterwards, so that I'm just finishing up with this one, and then, you know, we can see along whether there is time or not. The next thing is actually a TED Talk. And now I'm asking myself again, should I actually somehow react to TED Talks? You know, I really don't like the kind of saying of reacting to videos, because this is something that, well, I don't know, people do. I know people do react to certain things, but yeah, I don't know if this is so great, you know. Well, I think it is great, you know, because people are doing it and it works, and they just, you know, get a lot of feedback and engagement off of it or from it. So I don't know, you know, it might be just one of the things that could work for me. I could just try it out. It is just actually another form of, well, because I would totally pause there and just talk about some shit they are talking about, you know. It would just be the completely exact same thing as going through an article, just as an audio form, and so that you... I'm just thinking about it in a completely different way now, you know, because it completely is the same exact thing as what I'm doing right here. Now I'm just practically reading and talking about something that someone wrote, but the video then is something like, okay, you know, this is something that someone talked about, or talked in about some things, so I could totally just react to it, talk about it. Even though, as I said, I hate the word reacting to certain things, because yeah, it is reacting, you know, it is just connotated so fucking badly, I guess. But yeah, nevertheless, I think, yeah, I guess the next video is gonna be just some sort of such a video, just to see, yeah, because I'm just completely thinking about it differently. It's just really interesting. I just changed my own mind. It's amazing. But yeah, so a video explanation of grit. This short TED Talk by psychology professor Angela Duckworth. So she is actually Angela Duckworth. I didn't know it. I really didn't. Explains the concept of grit and how it helps foster mental toughness in our everyday lives. Which is nice. Which is nice. You know, it is always great to see that, you know, people are searching for something, people are doing the research, and to see that, you know, things are evolving, I guess, you know. I like the whole evolving things. I like just really just seeing, okay, especially technology is evolving, and it's something that I extremely just appreciate to some degree. Well, I do appreciate it because I'm very interested in these things, you know, and I've been talking about it just, I think, way too often, I guess. But I really like it, you know. I really like to see, okay, what's going on in the world, you know, in terms of the current technology. But I also like to see, okay, what is coming? You know, what can I expect from the future? What can I expect from technology nowadays or in the future? And all those things, you know, I really think that are just, you know, pretty interesting. So how to be mentally tough? Step 1 is define what grit or mental toughness means for you, which is actually also a point in the book, because if I haven't mentioned it, I've gone through the book, also as a podcast version and or video version, so you can just search it up. I might have named it in a similar way, but you know, you can I've totally named it in the description, I hope at least. But I think it is a really, really late, not late, but old video. I really think so. So yeah. For you, it might be going 1 month without missing a workout, delivering your workout ahead of schedule for 2 days in a row, delivering your work ahead of school, which is, quite interesting, which is the exact same thing that I was talking about before. Like, okay, if you do just have the time, why wouldn't you work on it? And why wouldn't you just, do the work beforehand or do the work ahead? It just really just is a good thing for you tomorrow. Thinking about the tomorrow and thinking about the next day and the next day and the next day, I think is a great concept. To actually making your life a little bit easier, more efficient, more productive, better maybe. I think it's just a great thing, or a great way to think, actually. And the last thing could be calling one friend to catch up every Saturday this month. Also. And just seeing that now, it could also just have something to do with getting out of your comfort zone. By the way, comfort zone. I should maybe turn on the do not disturb mode so that I'm not getting disturbed. Fucking obviously. But yeah. Saturday this month. Yeah, I do think that it just can have something to do with overcoming your just barriers in terms of your comfort zone and those things. Maybe, but I think we'll see. So whatever it is, be clear about what you're going after. What you're trying to go after, actually, as well. Step 2, build grit with small physical wins. So often we think that grit is about how we respond to extreme situations, but what about everyday circumstances? Mental toughness is like a muscle. It needs to be worked to grow and develop. Choose to do the 10th rep when it would be easier to just do 9. Choose to create when it would be easier to consume. Choose to ask the extra question when it would be easier to accept. Prove to yourself in 1,000 tiny ways that you have enough guts to get in the ring and do battle with life and also with yourself, to some degree, which is something that I would totally suggest. Something that I would totally suggest to do is taking cold showers, actually, because this is actually one of these tiny, easy, well, not easy, but simple things you can do to just build your grit, I would say, and also build your willpower. And I quite see now that willpower and grit are just somehow correlated to each other because, well, yeah, what she's talking about there, or also what actually he's talking about there, because it's an article from James Clear himself, is that it also comes up to discipline, to just doing, to just overcoming your barriers, and also willpower to some degree, and discipline, if I haven't named it. Because actually making the 10th rep, even though the 9th would have been easier, or just letting it be the 9th without actually kind of attending or just trying the 10th because it's easier, does just really have to do something with discipline and or just overcoming your barriers, trying to push yourself as hard as possible. And I guess, if you do just have the willpower, if you're doing it just in really tiny ways, as she also says it, like taking cold showers, doing the 10th rep, doing the work for tomorrow because you've already finished today, and all those other just really tiny things, I really like it. I really like what she's saying there because I totally believe in it as well. I do not know if I just believe in it in this particular way. Like, okay, you just get the willpower, or if you get the kind of grit, or you get the the discipline or whatsoever. But I think I just believe in it because I think it's great. It's a great way to live. Just also to discover what you're capable of. Because at my point of view, we all humans, we are just so fucking capable of so many fucking things, but we haven't tried out. A lot of us haven't actually tried out what their edge is, what the edge of what they're capable to do is, which is actually very, very interesting to see. Okay, after the 12th rep, you're just fucking dead. You can't do it any longer. It is really interesting to see. It's really interesting to experience more than to see, I think. But yeah, let's move ahead. So read more, the proven, reasonable, and totally unsexy secret to success, which is discipline and working your fucking ass off. By the way, I like this kind of, it's not a dialect, but it's a way to say, ass, which is ass or ass. I really like it. I think it just sounds funnier, I guess. Maybe I just Yeah. Maybe I'm just gonna make it a habit for me to just saying as instead of as. But yeah, step 3 would be build strong habits and stop depending on motivation. Well, which is actually one of the things that I've been talking about before and that I've been thinking about before, also relatively recently, I would say. What is better or what is more important, motivation or discipline? Because I think discipline is more important than motivation is. Because even though you do not have the motivation, still, because you have the discipline, you're gonna do it. You know, no matter fucking what, you're gonna have the grit. She talks about it. I do just see maybe just grit is quite the exact same thing as, discipline, or being disciplined, or having discipline, or whatever it actually fucking is. This episode might also be edited, by the way. So not the audio version, because the audio version is always gonna be just somehow raw, I guess. Not because I'm just fucking lazy. No, I'm really not lazy. But I think, this just might be just one of the reasons why I would prefer one of those two over the other one, I guess. And also, I don't know. I would like you to have it like this somehow. Unless I'm doing something, I always just struggle with unless and until and whatever. Unless there's actually something in the episode I do just have to cut out. No matter what, I do just have to cut it out. Then I'm also gonna cut it out. I think the only thing that I've once just actually cut out was a fart of mine, because I found like, okay, it's a little fucked up. Well, actually, me talking about it doesn't make it any better. But even though I do think that there have been way more farts than I think there are in the videos. Because sometimes, when I've just eaten something completely shitty in terms of, okay, actually my guts seem to not actually like it, then, I'm gonna fart all day fucking long. And I'm gonna just really smell like a piece of shit, actually. But yeah, let's go. Let's go fucking ahead. Let's see. So build strong habits and stop depending on motivation. So I do believe that strong habits and or discipline is more important than motivation. So grit isn't about getting an incredible dose of inspiration or courage. It is about building the daily habits that allow you to stick to a schedule and overcome challenges and distractions over and over and over again. Mentally tough people don't have to be more courageous, more talented, or more intelligent, just more consistent. Grit comes down to your habits. It's about doing the things you're supposed to do on a more consistent basis. It is about your dedication to daily practice and your ability to stick to a schedule. So in the end, it is discipline, I guess. It somehow is. Well, yeah, it really somehow is. So read more about it on how to build good habits and break bad ones, which is also another article from him. Well, we've actually nearly finished this article, and it's been a great article. It's a short one with a lot of value, with just the really, most valuable and most important insights of this book, of this saying or of this concept that Angela Duckworth is talking about, just in general. Let's see. Examples of grit. Mentally tough athletes are more consistent than others. They don't miss workouts and they don't miss assignments. They always have their teammates back. Well, these are totally just generalizations. I particularly don't, like these things, but I assume that, it would actually be the case for a lot of mentally tough athletes that they're actually, that they actually have their teammates back, and for sure they're gonna just not miss out workouts. I'm just discussing or just debating about this having the teammates back thing. Mentally tough leaders are more consistent than their peers. They have a clear goal that they work towards each fucking day. There's no fucking in it, but each day. So they don't let short-term profits, negative feedback, or hectic schedules prevent them from continuing the march towards their vision. I've just read that pretty nicely, haven't I? So they make a habit of building up the people around them, and not just once, but over and over and over again. which is always also something that I'm trying to do. And I think it's just good to be able to just get out positivity, which is exactly the same thing that I'm trying to fucking do here. I want you to be fucking happy. I want you to be fucking positive. I don't want you to fucking like this video. You know, it would even be great if you do not have to watch this video, because you have the information already. You just are pumped up already. You are motivated or fucking ready. You just don't need it. Would be great. But if you're watching this video, just really, listening to the podcast actually, I really truly hope that you're fucking pumped, that you're fucking motivated to do your shit, to do your goal, to go for your goal, just actually get to your dreams. And you're happy, which is the most important part about everything, that you're being happy. No matter it's about actually going for your goals. If you're not happy during actually the process of going to your goals, why then would it be worth actually having the goal or being at your goal, being at this place? I'm just thinking about a place actually. I was just thinking about Olympus, like in the sky. If there's just a really great palace in the sky with all the Greek gods. Well, yeah, never mind. They make a habit of building up the people. Oh, I've read that. Mentally tough artists, writers, and employees deliver on a more consistent basis than most. And they work on a schedule not just when they feel motivated. They approach their work like a pro and not like an amateur. They do the most important things first and don't shirk responsibilities. Which is something that I also don't quite think is actually the case, that they just do the most important things just, at first and whatsoever. But I still believe that they're doing their fucking shit. And there have always been days for me where I just really haven't felt like, recording. Actually, I really haven't felt like it. But I still did it. And I felt actually shit doing it. Because it was like, I want to just drag myself through the whole fucking episode, because I actually don't know when I record it. In the end, I did it. And I think in the end, I'm pretty fucking happy to actually put out as much content as I possibly fucking can. Because, as Gary Vee already said it is one of the variables we can actually somehow change. We can somehow have influence on, the hard work we're doing. Efficiency, yeah, of course you can be more efficient, but working harder is just way easier than trying to be more efficient. You can just work more, just work 1 hour more, work 2 hours more. It is easier than actually going for this efficiency kind of thing, even though working efficient and then also very hard is also important. Because if you're just working efficient but not hard, which means for example, if I would be doing the post, I'm doing the post and I do just have to fill for every post. For example, it takes me, 10 minutes. Let's say it's not actually the case, but let's say 10 minutes. If there would be a way for me to actually make every post over the course of 1 minute, and I still only do the 10 posts or the 8 posts that I'm doing every single day, it would take me just a tenth of the time. Yeah, it would actually, I think, take me a tenth of the time that it would just take me for all the posts normally. The thing then is, I could also do just 10 times as much fucking posts as I was doing, because of this efficiency trick that I just found, or that I've just seen or whatsoever, which is great, But still, then if you're not doing it, if you're not doing more than you just would normally do in your old setting, with your old setting, then it is not hard work. It is efficient. You save some time, but you could do more. You could really do more. Something that I've actually been thinking about today. I think what was I doing? I think, I was somewhere in the kitchen, but I don't know why I was in the kitchen. I think I had to look after my little sister or something. I did something, I don't know, but I thought about it today. 3 articles on how I develop grip, how to fall in love with boredom and unlock your mental toughness, what I do when it feels like my work isn't good enough, what I do when I feel like giving up, and best books on grit and mental toughness. Grit by Angela Duckworth, makes sense. Mindset by Carol Dweck, Also a book that I've been featuring, but it's a really complicated one. So I think this is actually the one book that I have not finished because it was just too complicated for me in terms of English. I think in German it would have not been actually better, but yeah, never mind. And the last one is How Children Succeed by Paul Tough, or Toth, Tough. I don't know, something like this. Want more great grit books? Browse my full list of the best self-help books, because he's also writing summaries, and these summaries that he's writing are also pretty fucking great. I might have also been going through grit on his website as well, but I don't know. And there's just another pretty, relatively long list about all grit articles there are. And yeah, this is fucking it. This episode has been just extremely fucking great. I've enjoyed it so extremely fucking much as I haven't for quite some time, I guess. It's just been a really great one. And I think I should just really focus more on actually having fun while doing the fucking episodes, which might actually kind of reduce the time that I would have to edit them, because I'm just not being so unmotivated and so uninteresting all the fucking time. Because podcasts in general are relatively uncut. Why shouldn't I not cut my videos as well, even though I could just really add something to them? Never mind. But I wish you the best health, happiness and success, and I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which means your legacy, which means whether people think that you have been a great person, that you have been a good person, a kind person, and I guess most people would like to have it. Most people would like to be remembered as a good person rather than a bad person. Still, I do just also have to say that we are not able to make everyone like us. It is just not able. We are not able to do so. But this is it. And I hope you've enjoyed as well. I see you the next time. Thank you very much for listening and or watching. And I see you,